your support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I am your host, Anoa Changa. I'm sad because my time with you is coming to an end today, but I'm sure you'll be happy to have been back on Monday. Today, it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th. I don't know about y'all if you ever grew up thinking like today was like a suspicious day. I think it's an auspicious day. I love that word. But it's Friday the 13th, sending many blessings and I hope everyone has a good day or is already having a great start to their day. Shout out to my kiddo. He's going to go take his driver's test a little later this morning. So hopefully we'll have a third driver. Sigh for my insurance dollars, but my insurance, monthly insurance. But it's really exciting to help my kids, venture into the adult world. Side note, if you have insurance commissioners or anything like that happening down ballot in your elections coming up, if you have primaries coming up, check out who's running for insurance commissioner, the price of insurance, some of the different charges a lot of us experience, who is in that position, or it might be called something different in your state. It really does matter. Who is making those decisions and who is actually trying to make sure that folks aren't paying exorbitant prices just because they live in a particular zip code, et cetera. That's my little plug for down ballot elections for the day. But I think we have another Black History Month fact this morning. Before we get to our guest, I'm super excited to be joined by attorney Nora Benavidez, also a good friend of mine. But I think we have a Black History Month fact first from Dr. Mac's calendar, blackheritagedays.com. Let's check it out.
On May 13, 1862, Robert Smalls smuggled his wife and their 3 children aboard the ship, Planter. At the start of the Civil War, he had joined the Confederate forces and become a member of the crew. He sailed the Planter out of Charleston Harbor and turned it over as war booty to Union forces, ensuring freedom for his family and 12 Black crew members. Impressed by his heroics, President Lincoln named Smalls a pilot in the Union Navy. He was later promoted to captain, making him the only Black captain during the Civil War. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
Amazing. This is such a great, shout out to Dr. Mack. This is such a great tool to have. I know I'm definitely bookmarking it for my own just coverage and, today in history type posts in the future. And you learn something every day. Like I did not know, I'm not sure if I knew about Captain Smalls or not, but that was a great little tidbit to start off our day. Now, joining me this morning is Nora Benavidez. Nora is with PEN America. And Nora has all these fabulous titles. I always get them confused, but Nora's doing amazing work at PEN America around platform accountability, disinformation, is a First Amendment, I would say one of the best First Amendment experts in the country. Folks should be booking Nora left and right instead of some of these pasty commentators they tend to go for. But she's also someone who has helped me really navigate and understand the ways in which these issues at a very basic level, right? Like a lot of times we talk about the First Amendment, it's either very uninformed, as we see with Elon Musk, or it is extremely highly academic and not accessible in a lot of ways. And so we tend to avoid these conversations. But Nora and I have known each other for quite some time because of her work representing, protesters and other folks here in Georgia. And she just did incredible work while she was at PEN America previously as a free expressions counsel as well. So Nora, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And what exactly is your title at Free Press? Tell us a little bit about your Free Press work, please.
Noah, I love seeing you anytime you do some of the best work. And it is too generous that you say all those things about me, because you are writing and covering stories with the headlines and the content and the experts that we need. And so I hope we get to talk about some of that as well.
Absolutely.
I work at Free Press. We are a media and tech justice organization. I am our senior counsel and director of digital justice and civil rights, which is a very long title. But it really tries to get at that we know our online world shapes so much of what happens offline. What are the civil rights implications for everyone, especially communities of color? How can we think about things like disinformation as affecting our democracy? And how do we fight against the digital threats to engagement, to equity, to really feeling like we are each empowered, making decisions for ourselves?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, Nora, we started having these conversations, I mean, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago now, even before you went on to Penn. Can you talk to me about some of these threats we are experiencing in our digital world? I mean, I know there's offline and online threats that we're seeing happening, but can you just talk to me some about, put it in context for what are we talking about when we're talking about threats to, Black and brown communities, communities of color, in terms of digital equity and ways that, online ability to express ourselves is being, challenged and curtailed?
Well, there are a lot of layers. I would start by saying there are many people around the country that still don't even have internet. And that permeates Native American populations, Black communities. That's just like a baseline that some people still aren't able to literally connect into what most of us have, I would say, all the time. Think about how many devices you have on your table right now. I have 2. Some people still have none. And if they do, they're paying the little bits and pieces, and then they go to a specific part of a reservation or elsewhere to get access. So that's one. And then beyond that, once you're really connected to the digital world, I think so many years ago, we imagined, all of us, that this was going to help make connection and conversation easier. And sometimes it does. Like, I look at your Twitter feed, I look at the ways that I can connect with people on social media. And it's actually pretty amazing in some ways. You find friends, you find media opportunities where people connect and talk about stuff. You get into fights. Maybe sometimes they're constructive. And then there's all this other stuff, though, like the stuff that I think we can call it something between the junk we read, the rumors and the conspiracy theories we see, the advertising that might frankly be something we enjoy, but it's actually tied to the fact that social media companies are gathering, collecting, and then leveraging our data. So when you search for something like a Black hair care product and then you get ads for it, that is kind of a scary implication for you. So you're seeing ads. Maybe you want to see them, but still, I find that kind of creepy. You also then might see other things. You might see political ads that are full of disinformation. You could see calls for violence. And over the last several years, what we've learned is that there has been a rise on social media of some of the worst content. And it isn't just because you or me or anyone else tuning in today likes that stuff and seeks it out. We know that social media companies are actually amplifying it. They're really preferencing that stuff. It makes them money because it's so controversial. And so extremist content, for example, gets engaged and boosted 6 times more than other content. We also know that companies like Twitter have amplified disinformation for Latino and Spanish-speaking voters around the 2020 election to really disincentivize and disenfranchise them through the voting process. Over the 2016 and 2018 and 2020 elections, Black voters were targeted with various kinds of narratives that made them feel their vote wouldn't count. And so altogether, there's sort of this like noise and chaos where you don't quite know how to sift through information. And it's a huge daunting task because each person's news feed looks different. So we don't even really ever get a sense of what the problem is at scale.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, Nora, you were just talking some about the way in which the various platforms, I mean, you mentioned the issue of Latino voters in particular. I know from some of the work that y'all have done that Facebook and it still allowed, disinformation around COVID in particular to continue that was in Spanish, even as it was taking down English disinformation. And so there's just like a lack of investment when it is in a non-English language, it seems like, to even even ensure and make sure this information is being curtailed. But I wanted to ask you about like the content moderation stuff, right? I mean, we're seeing a lot of conversation about how it interferes with the First Amendment. We're denying people, those people who are advocating for content moderation or want the sites to make sure they're moderating content are denying people's right, protected First Amendment right. Can you talk to me about like the importance and value of content moderation, as well as what does it have to do with the First Amendment?
Oh, this is one of my favorite questions because people love to say, I'm being censored on social media. And I try to very kindly disavow people. I say, social media companies are private companies. The First Amendment really only is intended to create guardrails so that the government doesn't infringe on your rights. And I hope we can talk more about some of the First Amendment issues. But that means that on social media, if a company decides to ban you or take some of your content down or put a label on it, or for anyone else, let's say former President Donald Trump, that is not a First Amendment violation. There are, throughout the world, instances where many people use social media as their lifeline to information. So when content gets removed or somehow labeled with something that makes them not engage, you can ask the question of how does that affect free expression, the ability to learn about and have access to information. But it is not a First Amendment issue. When it comes to then content moderation, given that we know there's been this rise in disinformation, in hateful content, calls for violence, many of which, let's just use an example, led to the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. The question becomes, what should social media companies be doing? Many of them say, we're like a public square. We're not going to be the arbiters of truth. That's their favorite line. And yet we have more and more and more evidence that what they actually are doing leads to things like genocide, horrid human rights abuses throughout the world. We just saw an election in the Philippines at the beginning of this week, and we knew that disinformation ran rampant with pro sort of narratives for whichever candidate was in charge and in power. And so the question then is, well, what do social media companies do here? And people like Elon Musk, other people who somehow think that free speech should flourish without content moderation, have no real sense of how these platforms operate. And that the noisiest, most toxic, most hateful stuff will always rise to the top. And so we need moderation and we need enforcement. Some of the work that we do at Free Press is really centered on how do we build pressure for social media companies and other internet service companies to do better. They know how to do better. I'll give you just one quick anecdote. In the lead up to the 2020 election here in the United States, Facebook actually implemented what were called break glass measures. They knew that there was going to be so much junk and hate and lies. And so they put a number of mechanisms in place to minimize the reach and the visibility of that content. They did that only for a short period in November of 2020. And then they disbanded their civic integrity team. They slashed the budget for all of this. They stopped putting those mechanisms in place. And what followed for the next month was just this horrible rise in the worst content. And while it may not have been the direct cause of January 6th, many researchers say, you look at the two things and we know that that online world has offline consequence. So companies like Facebook and now Meta have to do better. They have to fix their algorithms to stop preferencing this stuff. And globally, they have to invest, as you mentioned, in non-English content. They're investing 87% of their resourcing on English alone. And yet we see over 25 other languages spoken in major countries around the world that are getting just piddly cents relative to the major budget that these companies have. So we need to learn more about them, and they need to really understand that they are affecting and eroding democracies.
That's powerful when you talked about the way in which it can affect and erode democracy, particularly when we hear so much from folks like, oh, Twitter's not real life or Facebook's not real life or whatever. But what you said, that the digital world can have offline real world consequences, just thinking a little bit more about the criminalization of or just the First Amendment as it relates to protests. You had this amazing thread yesterday where you were really contextualizing on Twitter. Nora had this really dope thread contextualizing the various statutes that attempt to criminalize protests and with the First Amendment. And so when we're talking about First Amendment issues and violations like states criminalizing protests, that actually does raise a First Amendment issue. Is that correct?
Oh, no, I love to chop it up with you about protest rights. I think more than anything, because so many people don't make the connection that getting out, standing on a sidewalk, walking on a highway, those are rights. And we've somehow internalized this false narrative. I think of it as disinformation, that protest is inherently criminal. People say that it is violent, that rioting happens. There's sort of these links people make in the words that they use when they describe public gatherings. And over the last several days, the last several weeks, we've seen, in light of the draft ruling in Dobbs, which would potentially gut Roe v. Wade, so many abortion activists have come out and started protesting. And many are weighing in. Democrats are saying, don't go overboard on your protests. Republicans are then saying, well, there are certain statutes that criminalize protest, and we have to actually know what our rights are, and that the First Amendment will supersede these other criminal statutes that say you can't protest in certain places because protest and standing there is in and of itself a criminal act. It isn't. There are some regulations that the government can put in place. And what we call those are time, place, and manner restrictions. So the idea that you're standing outside Justice Kavanaugh's house with a bullhorn at 2 a.m. may be a problem. But the idea that you're standing on the sidewalk near his house during the day with a number of people with signs is a very different issue. And so people are currently pulling from different places, trying to create the narrative that we don't have protest rights. And so I always try to remind people, let's take a beat and understand why the First Amendment is first. We have long known in this country that the First Amendment is essential for democracy to work. It's the only reason we're able to all come together and be heard by you, by my fellow citizens. And it really is essential. It's sort of part of the fabric of how this country needs to work. But we've somehow gotten to an upset balance in this digital era that the worst stuff gets heard. And part of what we all need to remember is we all have rights. Unfortunately, the people who are currently criminalized are Black people, other people of color, people who are trying to push for progress. And if it means that much to silence those voices, we have to think about why progress is considered that dangerous. It should never be considered dangerous. Progress and protest are the fabric of America. Whether it is long ago when we had journalist rights to protect those reporters that published the Pentagon Papers, the civil rights movement, which at the time was criminalized. Black activists and leaders were beaten for trying to literally just march on a sidewalk. BLM, tech whistleblowers. These are all little through lines that speech is essential as a tool for progress. And so we have to upset this narrative that somehow we can't engage, and if we do, we'll be arrested, because that is what leaders now want us to think as a form of silencing social change.
And just going a little bit further into the First Amendment, because I know there's a whole gamut of stuff that you cover. About a month or so ago, you and I were talking about when the New York Times editorial board came out with that ridiculous editorial about the real battle around the First Amendment. I just wonder if you could just talk to me, putting it in context for us, because there is this narrative that there is this battle around the First Amendment and certain people being silenced in cancel culture that doesn't seem to be matching matching up with the reality of what the real First Amendment struggle is about right now. So can you just talk to me some about what are we really seeing? And I mean, I know that's so broad because the First Amendment covers so many things: freedom of the press, right to protest, freedom of religion. I mean, it's like, what, 5 or 6 different things that are covered under the First Amendment itself.
I love it.
Can you talk to me just about, like, as we're wrapping up, what are the challenges we're really seeing right now facing in terms of the First Amendment?
Well, we're seeing a rise in what I call anti-democratic trends. Those are state and local efforts by legislators to criminalize our basic rights. And a lot of people will say things like, well, cancel culture is really the biggest threat we have right now to people expressing themselves. I think that's a pretty rarefied, sort of ivory towered take on what's really happening. The biggest threat that we see to free speech is the rise of this anti-democratic work. It is happening in Florida. It is happening in Georgia. It is happening in Michigan and Wisconsin and Arizona. I can rattle off the dozens of states where we are seeing a bunch of things. One is hundreds of proposals in these states to increase penalties for protest. And just a reminder, protest is a right. Things like driving on a highway, those are licenses we get, licenses to drive. But protest is an essential First Amendment right. We also are seeing the rise of these kinds of legislation that would criminalize anything related to voting. That is, people who give out water while people are waiting to vote, or election poll workers are now no longer allowed to do certain things. And so under the fear of being arrested, people will stop protesting, stop making sure that someone who doesn't speak English has access to the proper voting ballot. We're also then seeing other things. In Florida and in Texas, there have been efforts to make sure that social media companies cannot remove candidates who promote disinformation. Just yesterday in Texas, something happened where a judge said that is a fine piece of legislation to proceed. And if the state wants to make sure that social media companies have to keep authoritarian voices on, so be it. That is a very troubling precedent we're setting. We're going to be seeing now less access for people like you and me, less ability to engage in democracy. If you're not protesting, if you're not voting, if you really, truly cannot use the avenues where speech is essential, and the people in power promoting lies are given an unfettered landscape to do so, that is democracy in peril.
Nora, I really appreciate you for joining us this morning on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, and just dropping a few nuggets to get us started with our day. Please let folks know where they can find you and how they can follow more of your work.
Well, I am always on Twitter at Attorney Nora. Check me out. Ask me questions. I want us to start building a better understanding of free speech together. We have to have communication and dialogue. And then I would love for you to check out the new work we are doing at Free Press at changetheterms.org. We are launching an effort called Fix the Feed, which is a big campaign ahead of the midterm elections this November to make sure that social media companies protect democracy every day and all over the world. So check us out.
Amazing. Nora Benavides, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm going to kick it back over to the team. This has been a great past few days with y'all in the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show land. I think up next is On the Clock with Miss Georgia Fort. I'm Anoa Changa, and it has been my pleasure to be your host this week. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace.
Good morning, everybody. Y'all know who it is. I got a horse in my throat. Good morning, everybody. You know who it is. You know the voice. You know the sound. James Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Friday the 13th at that. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Shout out to Anoa Tonka for holding it down for us this week. We appreciate you, Anoa. We'll see you again soon. Coming up next, it's On the Clock with Georgia Fort. Make sure y'all stay tuned, man.
We all with the same.
Good morning, everybody.
In the safe, I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bit. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you could lose life on this fast route. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning.
Flip that to the glass house. I don't need that.
I'm mad at Brother Dragon think this is early for me. Brother Dragon, 8:30 is always my time. Here's the more massive Latif, good morning. Good morning, Malaya. Tip City Socialist Tyra Tiger, good morning. Elizabeth Lanza, Infinite Content Spin Cycle Boondocks. Snack Panther, what's going on? Latino Juanita. Raina, good morning, Raina. Hey, long time no see. Good morning to you. Elizabeth Lanza, good morning. Amber Layla. Diego, good morning. Lady Lou. Edith Robert Wilson, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Mama's at work, as usual. I don't like working, Mama. I don't like that at all. Good morning, Daddy. You're holding it down, and I appreciate you. Yes, Boondocks Dragon tonight. It is going down. Patron party tonight, y'all. Make sure that y'all are there. You do not want to miss it. Caribbean team, reggae music, Afro beats, everything from the islands. That's where we're going tonight. Make sure that y'all tune in tonight, y'all. You don't want to miss it. Big Peace, good morning to you. Melanie Dennis, good morning. Craig-On, good morning. Happy Friday. Friday, that's right. Magdalene Moon, good morning. Iris Jones, good morning to you.
Sound to musical blast, sound like a musical explosion. Taking on to the magical ride.
Brother Bryce, good morning. Don't forget, tonight, y'all, Patreon party's going down 9 p.m. We're taking it to the islands for this one, y'all. You don't want to miss it. That's right, Silk City Socialist. Break out the good rum, Jamaican rum if you got it.
Oh, it a bit air. Him not stop cry about you. But you skip on the people, don't you try to find the chickens. I will tell you about the son and keep it rocking in. Blue brand, blue like it in the people. When I'm next to you, it's like I'm climbing up a ladder. I said we must stick together now. Hey girl, you never know, say my friend him love you, know. Him fancy you bad, you know.
Shout out Benjamin Dixon in the chat. Benjamin Perry, Parcell, Parnell, Phoenix,
Talk about you.
Petroleum Dixon.
Him really wanna live with you, you know.
Good morning, Brother Ben. We miss you, son. We'll see you next week.
Oh girl.
Good morning, Struth the Dragon, who I'm about to kick out the chat room already. Who said that Bubba talked about Bruce Lee's brother, who was real quick, suddenly. Snack Panther, go away. Jason Goodcroft, good morning to you.
The moment we start, the man who really got me in my soft spot, and we never could have fall apart. Me love you from a dusk and me say straight on to dawn. Me say love you from a morning come. I love you never cold, I love ever warm. Even make it through the rain and storm. Oh, it a bit air, chiddly bum, chiddly bum, chiddly bum, chiba, chibe, chiddly bum, chiba, chibu, chiba, chibu, chiba, chibe.
Oh, tonight is going to be so much fun. I'm just over feeling. Shout out to Rebecca. Happy birthday, Rebecca. I'm somewhere on the island somewhere. This song is for you. Drinking your rum and Red Bull. Your red stripe beer, whatever you're doing, Rebecca. Happy birthday to your sister. We love you. We mean it. Make sure you take plenty of pictures. Ooh, Boondocks Dragon. That sounds so awesome.
Can talk in the morning, talk in the
Latino, good morning to
you. You can talk to your brother.
Y'all, a guy tried to sell me a coffee. I told him that's the last thing I need.
You can talk to your father, talk to your mother. Eyes on you. Can only talk to your
Kareem Ransom, good morning.
Talk to your soul. Eyes on you.
Rolling Dragon, I appreciate you. Infinite Content, good morning.
What you're reading in
The Letter Hack says, y'all be on the lookout for a Queen Azor live stream drawing this weekend. Oh, yes, we cannot wait. Shout out Letter Hack. We love you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, Miss Petal, good morning. Man, gotcha. Jesse Camaro, good morning.
Talking the evening, eyes on you. You can talk to your brother, talk to your sister, eyes on you.
All right, y'all know what time it is. And I am running late. We are now on the clock. Good morning, y'all.
Talk to your mind.
Good morning. I am independent journalist Georgia Fort. This morning, we are taking a look at a new study that came out that has shown over 90% of large U.S. cities are pricing out their Black residents. And when you think about the lack of affordability in metro areas, what does this mean? What does this mean for the quality of life of Black residents? What does this mean for the future of metro areas? There's so much to unpack here, but it should not be surprising as we've seen prices for homes skyrocket. We've seen the rent in units that are for lease skyrocket. And so this is not really surprising, Anthony, but to me, it is disturbing that this is disproportionately affecting Black people.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we see that trend all the way across. Good morning, Georgia. one of the things that we see across, there's that adage that we have experienced over and over again. When society catches a cold, people of color and marginalized communities catch the flu, and so. This, in addition to the inflation that we see, we see the issue with housing stock in many of the cities around. All of those things amount to folks who are most vulnerable, right? Who are most at the margins, at the edges. I have seen even in my church parish community the amounts of folks needing and seeking help from our church community and some of the communal groups and the co-ops that we have established are increasing. The requests for benevolence are increasing as well. And so we have seen this trend. We kind of, there's so many things going on that we've taken this may not have been on front and center for many folks, given all the things that are going on, but we have seen that increase only be exacerbated by what's happening with the pandemic. So it's a real problem.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I was thinking about is the wealth gap. So when you talk about something being affordable, if the white wealth, I'm trying to look it up here. I think it's almost 200,000 for white households, which is almost 8 times that of the typical Black household, which is under 30,000. So, of course, if you think about affordability, if the average white household is earning $200,000 a year, there's a lot that's affordable for them. If you are earning less than $30,000 a year, it may be difficult to find any kind of housing that can accommodate the size of your family, right? So there are so many layers, but that has decided that housing is a luxury, right? And now we can begin to understand why we're seeing all of these tent encampments all across the country. I remember going to DC, and we're driving up to the nation's capital. It's our first time there. And it's like, everybody kind of taken aback, like, wow, the nation's capital. And I think in frames, right, as being a videographer, a photographer, working with the camera a lot, I always think of frames. In the same frame of our nation's capital is a tent encampment. And so, here you have folks who are living in a tent, and their backdrop is the Capitol. And so fundamentally, at some point, I feel like our country has taken a wrong turn somewhere, because, what does that say? What does just that one statistic say? That 90% of large U.S. cities are unaffordable for Black people. What does that say? What are we saying? We don't want you here. Go somewhere else. There has to be a shift in economics, and I thought we were approaching on this after the murder of George Floyd, when we had all these corporations make these large declarations to Black economics. But sadly, a lot of them have not fulfilled their commitments.
Well, and this is indicative of some of the gaps across. When you talked about that wealth gap, it's I think an important piece in there is that in all the research, and especially some of the stuff coming out of Pew Research, it's not just a gap, it's also a widening gap. It's continuing to grow, which is very problematic. But then also, we're seeing that things aren't moving in lockstep. So let's take, for example, in a historical housing space, right, when people of color, in particular Black folks, indigenous folks, Latinx folks, were pushed out of housing markets or kept out of housing markets, redlined around, so that those housing markets, were problematic around. That also created a space in which you have an imbalance and a huge gap between home ownership. So the bank of the home of owned home that you could borrow against, that you can use as a buoy whenever these things move, is also not equal. So you have that into the mix. So these imbalances in not just other places are also having an effect of what you're describing. I will also add too that one of the things that we see is, as luxury housing and other things are being built for a particular group of a dwindling group of folks who can afford that, less attention is being put onto the affordable options that are there in the city sprawl. And so and in addition to not keeping up with the pace of income. So even if I could keep pace with my job and my incomes that are happening in the job that I'm working, to keep up with the rising cost of living in particularly urban areas, I still have those other gaps to contend with. And as you know, we're also the more vulnerable to any shifts that may happen, whether it's health or something like that hits and completely wipes out my bank account. We know that one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in the United States is health-related issues that come up. And folks in the very communities that we're talking about are overrepresented in those areas. And so there's a kind of a perfect storm brewing all around that we don't seem to be addressing.
Yeah, I know our family, Anthony, we were just shopping for a home and we were extremely skeptical that we would even be able to get qualified for a home loan, because we're both entrepreneurs. And I mean, the checklist for entrepreneurs to gain access to any kind of financing is extremely challenging. But we actually did get pre-approved for our home loan. And then we were, looking at homes. The homes, number one, are flying off the shelves. Like they will come on the market one day and be gone. They'll come on the market in the morning and they'll be sold by night. But not only that, like there was this one home we absolutely fell in love with. We offered them $45,000 more than asking price, and we were outbid. And it was probably like a cash maximum bid. And it was devastating for our children because they fell in love with the home too. But it is to think of a home going for more than what it's listed. There was another home. We weren't really like that in love with it, but we liked the neighborhood. And I remember going back because I was going to I went to see it and Cerisa was out of town. And so I was going to send him the listing a few days later. And I look and it sold for $60,000 more than the asking price. And when you also think about the nature of real estate, there's no way for you to know who has the highest bid or what the highest bid is so that you could try to outbid it. It's very, you just kind of, you're shooting in the dark, essentially. And so it just was crazy to me. But most of the real estate agents, they're like, yeah, this is just the way the market is. If you really want a house, you have to go all in and offer, the maximum amount that you are eligible for financing. But the economics on that doesn't make sense either. And so the other side, like, obviously, there's a portion of the population whose quality of life is being negatively affected by this. But when we think about the future, we've talked about the future impacts for these metro areas who are pricing out Black people and communities of color. But what happens for all those people who have purchased these homes at inflated prices? That's the other side. When you've talked to economic experts, there's a lot of parallels to what we're seeing now in comparison to what we saw before the last economic recession. And remember when the housing market crashed, like it inflates so much, and eventually it has to come down. And so that's the other side of it is people end up, you spend $500,000 on a home that's only valued at $350,000. That family is essentially losing, right? Mm-hmm. So there's so much nuance and complexity to this. But what I think is the most urgent and pressing issue is that people's quality of life is being affected. There's some people who just can't afford the bare minimum, and that's not right. And compounding that coming forward, of course, is the cliff that we're going to hit with inflation, because corrective actions are being done as we speak. And so we're going to see the value of the money that folks have had come together start to decline over time. And so you add that to being inverted in your quote, your equity gain, or what you would hope for as an equity gain over time. You've got a challenge ahead of you. What I will say too is it's also forcing folks to rethink. So one of the things that we're starting to see grow in some of the areas in which we're working with, because as a church leader, we got to get ready, because when these downturns happen and that need comes in there, we're one of the storehouses. We're one of the places that folks come to get some of the things they need, whether it be network connection and all of that. One of the things that is interesting is that folks are rethinking how we go about living. We don't say for South Africa, constitutionally, you have a right to a home. We don't have protections like that here in the United States. And so folks are starting to get creative in some ways. There are new conversations around multi-generational housing, rethinking developments in certain places. There are folks who wanted to do the upgrade that you talked about earlier who can't. We were in that space. We had saved. We had gotten to the point where we're like, yes, we're finally able to go in this market space. And now we had to go back and rethink that and go, we're probably going to need to stay
where we are even longer because we were at this cusp. And there's a whole lot of folks who had built up to this cusp of being able to move from say, for example, renting and primarily as a primary space to finally getting close to zeroing on some land or getting that first house that now is pushed out a little bit. So we've got some things to contend with, but it also is forcing some folks to get creative and to rethink what the living situation looks like. I'll give one example. There's a family who are working with who they all decided to pool around a piece of property that one of their family members had, and they ended up getting little pieces around that. And what they did is they decided to, and of course the building thing is difficult, but they began to kind of build around that house and use the equity in that house to support each other. Now, of course, it's not a buyer's market, but they were able to kind of buckle down and hold it down so that they all saved. They're a little bit more cramped, but what's happening is they're able to save in ways that they didn't before. And that was something that they were only thinking about. But as this began to open up, they're like, you know what, now's the time to start doing that. So because I always have to look for some silver lining in the mix. There are some creativity that's being born out of here that may be necessary as we try to address the issues in front of us.
Yeah. Well, while I have you, I want to switch gears here a little bit. Major oil and gas companies have been accused of deceiving the government in order to dodge responsibility for climate change. There was a study that came out recently on May 11th. The Environmental Defense Fund released an analysis that highlights the dishonest means of hitting net zero goals and appearing greener on paper. Companies like Shell, Exxon, and Chevron have reportedly offloaded gas and oil assets to smaller companies that are not subject to oversight or public scrutiny. And once these assets are sold, years of climate progress are reset immediately. And it's unfortunate for all of us because we all live on the same earth. And a lot of these companies have already made, huge errors that have negatively impacted our environment. And so for the government to step in and have this additional oversight has been helpful for all of us. We're making progress, right? But for them to cheat the system, not only are they making millions of dollars, but, when you think about the oil spills and the pollution, all of these different things that's causing harm to the environment, the fact that they would go out of their way to pass off assets to other companies that don't have the oversight and deceive the government in that way and set us all back environmentally. At what point is the government going to find them, so in a way that's like so strict that either it whips them in shade or it puts them out of business? Like how do these companies, how are they allowed to keep doing this?
Well, and one of the heartbreaking pieces of this is that those who are affected most and earliest by this are folks, not just marginalized communities in the United States, but across the globe. It's poorer countries, Black and brown countries, indigenous peoples that are feeling the effects first. And so that's what's so problematic and heartbreaking about this. And we, unfortunately, are in a nation that does not seem to be able to marshal the kind of public political will that many others have who have very different markets. But at the same time, let's just juxtapose what would happen if one of these companies are found openly hiding or masking or affecting their financial gain. Or what their income reports or their profit reports are, right? We seem to be more meticulous about that than we are about the things that are actually going to affect our ability to even be healthy on our own planet. So that is a problematic thing, and we are supposed to be taking care of this planet. So that's problematic in that regard. But also too, this also messes with our ability to gauge what this cliff is that we are approaching environmentally, that we have to get in front of, and that's problematic also in and of itself. And so I don't know what an answer would be to, for the accountability, other than if our regulatory bodies aren't able to keep up with this, and at the same time, what mechanisms are. The fact that you're talking about this news story is a step in that direction, but we have not seemed to be able to find the motivating factor. Lobbying is what it is. And in terms of rules and oversight and regulatory, the cost of going afoul of one of these companies seems at this current point to be greater than the will of or their concern for being in the zeitgeist of the people. And a lot of our research also shows across the country that a vast majority of folks support rolling back and holding and doing this accountability, but we don't seem to be able to marshal the power to be able to do that, or at least the leverage in order to make somebody to be a good actor. So I hope this report goes even further, so that because that seems to be the only mechanism that's causing folks to react or move.
Yeah. And, I think that, I do a lot of work in spaces that are Black led or that center, BIPOC communities. And it's interesting how in some spaces this is like a leading issue, and people's knowledge and awareness about it far exceeds even my own. And then in some spaces, the environmental issues is not even on people's radar. We have one planet, we have one Earth. If we allow these huge corporations who are already extracting wealth out of our communities, these CEOs who are making billions or millions of dollars, and paying their everyday workers, essential workers, barely minimum wage, or a wage that's not livable, right? Not only are they extracting wealth out of our community, but then they are destroying our planet. It's interesting how some people really see this as a pressing issue. They're willing to stand up for it, and other people who it's not even something that they've ever even thought about or talked about yet. And still every day you walk outside and, you're living on this planet. How can we not think about this? There's been other reports that have come out, that have looked at, like, if we don't fix things and we allow things to continue the way they are and progressively get worse, in 50 years from now, what is this planet going to look like? But these are real conversations that we have to have, because 50 years from now we're only 2 generations removed from that. Think about when your kids have kids, and maybe their kids have kids. Maybe like a lot of us will still be here in 50 years. What is it going to look like if we continue to allow these corporations to go down the path that they're going? But what control do we have when they're deceiving even the government, and we're watching that now happen without penalty?
Well, and all of that happening in the course of having actual real options on the table. That's the infuriating part about what you just said for me, is we have things that we can do. Our investments in greener approaches to energy, we could be pouring all of our assets there, but we don't seem to be doing that. We continue this tract of wrong by choice, right by necessity. And unfortunately, the necessity in this regard, there's a point at which once you feel it, it's already too late. And so once you truly feel it, right? And I mean, I'm talking to you as in us who are driving the ship in this regard. But there's also another thing that's happening too, right? The era of gushers, the era of this wanton abandoned energy production in the way, and especially it's dependent on fossil fuels. Yeah, that's done. We have depleted the huge, easily accessible oil. And so you're actually going to see that continue to decline. Now, the zeitgeist or your psyche would say that means that we have to start looking for new methods of energy. We don't seem to be doing that. We seem to be doubling down on the dirtiest. We seem to be doubling down on the most harmful to the environment. You would assume that there would be this boom in all of these other renewable areas, and there is some in that direction, but we're not. This should be our moon race. But we don't seem to be marshaling in the same way. And that's the problematic piece. So that's the infuriating piece about what you just said is we have options. We have real things that we can do, but that doesn't seem to be capturing our attention or our pocketbooks.
You just made me think of something too. During the pandemic, when folks had to work from home, they saw the environment. There was like just huge improvement because people weren't commuting every day. You didn't have all of the pollution from vehicles. So on top of green energy, on top of, added incentives for, just different fuel efficiency or wind energy or light energy, right? Also, why did these corporations force people to go back into the workplace? If it was better for the environment for us to stay home and people were just as productive, now we're forcing people to commute every single day, and we know what those emissions do to our environment. So Anthony, you're absolutely right. We have all the resources to do better. We have all the research that shows what's effective, and yet and still here we are and not doing better. So this is going to be something I continue to follow. Environmental issues have been a priority for me ever since I became an independent journalist. So it fascinates me that these huge corporations are allowed to deceive the public, deceive the government, and essentially do it without any penalty. But we are on the clock. So we'll see you next week. But for those of you watching, stick around for more on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show.
You don't know. This is Lion with a burning.
Shout out to Georgia Ford, Anthony Galloway. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all so much. And again, On the Clock with Georgia, always a great segment. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, with Rebecca Azor coming up next, but not with Rebecca.
Keep the funk in their music.
Without Rebecca Azor. Like it or not, without Rebecca Azor. Starting up next, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. And don't forget tonight, it's going down. Patreon party tonight. Patreon party tonight. Caribbean team. We're taking y'all to the islands tonight, man. Make sure that you are in the building 9 p.m. until you don't want to miss it. Laura Strada, good morning. KMZ, I saw you in the chat room too. Good morning to you. Snack at the IE. Where one? Happy Friday the 13th, all my horror fans out there. Alicia, good morning to you. Go binge watch some Friday the 13th movies. Keep in solidarity. Friday the 13th. Sweet Miss Mochi, good morning to you. That's my sister. Love you. Kitty Muse, good morning to you. You know what I just realized? I can start the show whenever the hell I want to. I ain't gotta wait for nobody. That's all right. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is.
Y'all know what time it is.
Make sure you get your coffee, your tea, your beverage, whatever it is you need to get started.
Whatever it is you need.
It's like it or not.
It's time for Like It or Not, y'all.
9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like it or not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change scan like we supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azor, it started now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, one ATL Country, good morning. Six Dragon Daddy, good morning to you. It's coming through. No, she's not coming through today. She is in Jamaica. It's on my nerves. Good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics bro. I am your DJ. Good morning, Mama. Mama has entered the chat. She just pop up right on time, huh? Ricky K. Hood, good morning. First timer here. Y'all make sure Ricky is welcome. Welcome, Ricky. Welcome. Like it or not, it's going. Snack Panther, I appreciate you. The remix is going to be harder, though. I think that's the one that's going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This one is good, but I don't know. Nothing can top the original. Like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like it or not, with Benjamin Dixon, starts now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Like It or Not, where we are free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. I am your host for today, James Wilbur Williams. DJ Exclusive is in the building, running the show for today while Rebecca is out gallivanting in Jamaica, having all the fun without us. But that's okay, though, because our time will come up soon. With me, as usual, we have Dwayne in the background holding it down. There's David as well, who will be coming on screen in a few to help me run through some of these stories, so I appreciate you. David, good morning to you. How you doing today, sir?
DJ Exclusive, how you doing? TGI.
I'm good. I know, right?
Thank God. I'm not as good a co-host as you are, but you know we're gonna give it a shot. Don't spit your coffee.
Hey, I'm glad that you're just here with me, so I appreciate that. Super producer extraordinaire David Grossman, y'all. Welcome, David. Welcome, Dwayne. How you doing today, sir?
I'm here.
I know, little Miss Lady back there in the background is running you crazy, bro. Man. I already know it.
I'm sure y'all can hear, behind the scenes, but she just don't want to take a nap.
Of course not. That's how it happens always. I don't have any kids, but I got a lot of nieces and nephews that was the same way. Whenever you're trying to work, that's when they're making the most noise. Don't want to take a nap. Want to do everything, requiring all the attention. Yes. So I feel it. And man, shout out to Kendrick Lamar, who dropped his album last night. Man, why can't I remember the name of the album? That is terrible.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Broke the damn internet last night. Here it is, 12 o'clock, it dropped. I listened to it for about the first half of the album, and then about 1 a.m., they pulled the album. And I was just devastated. But the first album that I did, because it's a 2-disc set, by the way, y'all. The first part of the album that I did here, off the chain, man. When I tell you this man is a freaking genius, and I'm so happy that music is back. That's really what it is. Music is back. So Kendrick dropped a bomb-ass album last night. If you haven't heard it yet, please make sure that you do. Again, Mr. Morale and the Boot Steppers? The Big Steppers.
Yeah.
Make sure that y'all go check that out. Streaming on all platforms right now. It is available. It's back on Apple Music, so I'm sure it's back up everywhere. Go listen. You will not
back up. I went and downloaded this morning. I couldn't. I feel like I'm getting so old, man. I can't make it to midnight no more. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna catch it last night, all day yesterday. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna catch it tonight. No,
right?
No, sir. I listened to probably like the first disc and a couple songs off the next one this morning.
Okay.
So it's definitely dope. Yeah, like Bubba said, go check it out.
Yeah, definitely a classic already. This man
never disappoints, though. That's the,
Never. And this album is one of those. There's a song on the album called Auntie Diaries that talks about his auntie transitioning into a man. And the lyric starts off, "My auntie is a man now." And when I tell you, he just goes on with the story and it's just like, damn, Kendrick, you just the bars. It's lyrics. Last night I listened, most times when I listen to a CD, the way I listen to it, beats first, then I go back and listen the second time. That's when I'm listening to the lyrics. Last night, put it on the TV and listening to the lyrics along with the music. My God, today is a life-changing experience. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Appreciate that. All right, y'all. We're going to jump into a few stories. David, I hope you're ready, sir. Are you ready?
I'm rolling up the sleeves that I don't have on.
Right, I understand it. All right, y'all. So North Korea yesterday reported its first COVID-19 death as fever spreads explosively through the country, according to Reuters. So at least one person confirmed to have COVID-19 has died in North Korea, and hundreds of thousands have shown fever symptoms, state media said on Friday, offering hints at the potentially dire scale of country's first confirmed outbreak of the pandemic. The data represents an unprecedented admission of explosive outbreak in a country that had reported no previous confirmed cases since the pandemic began and could mark a grave public health, economic, political crisis for the isolated regime. Now, South Korea's new president, Yoon Suk-yeol, who took office this week, plans to provide COVID-19 vaccines and other medical support to North Koreans, and his government would discuss details with Pyongyang, his spokeswoman said on Friday, without elaborating. Yoon told reporters later on Friday he plans to propose holding working-level talks with North Korea via the country's unification ministry, which handles inter-Korean affairs, South Korea's News One said. Experts said that given North Korea's limited testing capabilities, the numbers released so far probably represent a small fraction of the infections, which could lead to thousands of deaths in one of only two countries in the world without a COVID-19 vaccination campaign. About 187,800 people are being treated in isolation after a fever of unidentified origin has explosively spread nationwide since late April, the official KCNA news agency reported. 187,000 cases of explosive fever. So it's almost like they're not calling a thing, if that makes any sense. So it's being reported that roughly 350,000 people have shown signs of that fever, including 18,000 who newly reported such symptoms on Thursday. Wow. About 162,000 have been treated, but did not specify how many had tested positive for COVID-19. So, David, it really looks like they're not going to admit that these are COVID cases. They're going to call it an explosive fever with just the same symptoms. And the one person that did die from this, from COVID, contracted the Omicron variant of the virus, KCNA said. So that one case. And I just fail to believe that they've had no COVID deaths, and this is just the first one in 2 years. I just can't believe it.
That's just it. So for the past 2 years, there's been a lot of assumptions and a lot of speculation that there's no way it didn't breach their border, because China shares their border, and China was hit massively hard. Shanghai is still under lockdown, I believe. So for North Korea to not have received any, they're closed off from the world. So, I mean, to a degree, you can believe it, but then you can't believe anything that comes out of Pyongyang. You can't believe any of their state reporting or claims, because all of it is so clearly scripted just to stick to party lines, literally. So it's kind of a question of, did they really stay COVID-free this whole time, and they're actually admitting it now? Like, why would they admit it now unless it's because there's a dire need and they're about to become more willing to accept aid and vaccines? Because they haven't up to this point. They haven't accepted any assistance, haven't accepted any offers from the global community in terms of vaccinations and technology. So the question is they're admitting it right now because they are going to have to become a little bit more open to some assistance, because the people of North Korea are also they're currently, there's a food shortage there. There's there's fears of a drought, so they're really facing some dire circumstances.
Hey, what the young people say? That's cap. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That's the first death from COVID over there. I wish I had that drop. I think it was I can't remember which DJ was, but he lied. He lied. That's what we need for that, right?
Yes.
Because ain't no way. Ain't no way.
I just can't believe it. And they also, Harvard Medical School, Key Park, who's worked on a healthcare project over there as well, said they're testing about 1,400 people each week. And that is nowhere nearly enough to survey 350,000 people with symptoms. That's crazy. And what's more worrisome is the number of symptomatic people. That is really crazy. These are all symptomatic people. Now, what about the asymptomatic? So, and you'll never know. It just, I just hope they're okay. You know, North Korea, you know, is one of those countries where it's like, wow, okay, is their dictator is the main thing. So it's just, I hope that the people are taken care of and get the stuff that they need, especially with no vaccine program in place. That's just crazy. And so to juxtapose that, the White House is now saying that U.S. total cases could double by fall and winter. They're saying the U.S. could see 100 million COVID infections this fall and winter and potentially a sizable wave of deaths, the White House warned this past week. The news, first reported by the Washington Post, was shared Friday by a senior administration official, and during a background briefing. The country has so far seen nearly 82 million cases of COVID. 82 million cases of COVID.
And
since the pandemic's beginning.
They're talking about an additional 100 million. So
100 million.
So
and that's going to double.
I feel like they're over. I feel like this is not a conservative estimate. I feel like this is probably like a real warning, just in case, like basically over speculating, so that if there's a problem, it's going to be smaller and not as problematic, even though anything is problematic. But yeah, the another 100 million. Just imagine, like, we've had no wave that of that size, because 82 million, which is the current official count. You know, obviously we don't know the true number, but we're past 100 million. There's no doubt about it.
There's absolutely no way. We have to be way past that number.
But based on the official numbers, that's from how many waves, even though really we had one continuous wave really, but that's from how many different cycles of the pandemic. And now you're talking about doubling that in one potential wave.
Exactly. And that's just, and let's be clear, fall, winter, y'all, that's just in a few months, three to 4 months. That's crazy. So let's not forget, we are still in the midst of a pandemic, regardless of how much opening is going on and how many mask mandates are being struck down. Remember, we are still in a damn pandemic, and govern yourselves accordingly. Please make sure that you are safe. Wear your damn mask. Even if they say don't, wear your mask. That's all I can say. Wear your mask.
It's not that hard.
It's not. I thought Dwayne was about to say something.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, around here, so I've been down to Virginia a couple times, but here in Maryland, once they got rid of the mask mandates, and even before down in Virginia, it was like people would look at you like you was an alien if you went in somewhere with a mask on. Yeah, like, I don't care. You can look at me however you want to. I'm going in this 7-Eleven masked up.
So
exactly.
So during, I think it was last summer, I went to Nebraska, flyover country. Like literally nothing in the vicinity. It's just all farms and all white people, whiter than me. And that's hard. That's actually hard to make happen. And so I have family down there. They're not originally from there, but they're there. And there was my brother got married, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Where, for one thing, Nebraska hasn't reported COVID cases. I think they may have reported in the early days of the pandemic, but they stopped. Like, if you look at the COVID map, like the live map that has, turned various shades of red and whatnot from reporting, Nebraska was always gray because there was no reporting coming from the state. And I mean, it's rural, so the outbreaks were minimal. That's a fair point, but still there was no reporting, so it's really hard to know what was going on. When I was there, my other brother, not the one getting married, went into a gas station to pay for gas, and he put on a mask. It was a really old gas station. They had a bar inside, so it wasn't just like a convenience store. And he automatically had all these drunks just shouting at him, "Take off the diaper, take off the mask." What? And this is in the height of the pandemic. This is a year ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. Your cousins, David.
Right. God damn it, Dwayne.
just how you know how black people went. Yeah, you know when we talking to each other, like, hey man, get your cousins over there.
Man, get your people.
David, you got to answer for your cousins out there in Nebraska.
I do not. No.
David says no. The record is still out on David, by the way. Anyway, we can't tell if never mind. Anywho, David, that sounds about when I went to Johnstown, Pennsylvania last year when I drove through for a wedding, stopped in West Virginia. Oh my God. When I got out that car, it's just like, nobody got on a mask. I'm the only one walking with a mask on, and I tell you, they looking at me all funny, like, damn, y'all, I don't know where y'all been. I'm not about to stick around y'all with no mask on. Give me this mask, please. I don't trust it.
I was glad that my brother, I'm the oldest of 5, including some half siblings, but I was glad that my brother was the one that went into the gas station, because I really wasn't trying to be put in. Like I was like, yeah,
right.
I was just like, I'm not trying to deal with the bullshit.
And I've been lucky enough to avoid COVID for like this whole time, and I'm still doing my damnedest to avoid it. So yeah, no, I'm good on that. All right, y'all, let's go to space. Space, where you have no sounds and it's a lot of stuff up there that's really scary.
As long as we're not with Bezos and Musk, I'm good. I'm game.
Exactly. I mean, by itself, it's scary enough. So yesterday, a supermassive black hole was seen at the center of our galaxy. Astronomers on Thursday unveiled the first image of a supermassive black hole that roils the center of our galaxy. Its gravity so powerful, it bends space and time and forms a glowing ring of light with eternal darkness at its core. The black hole, seen from Earth near the constellation Sagittarius, has a mass equal more than 4 million suns. 4 million suns, David. 4 million.
I can't really,
with 7 zeros behind it.
I'm just remembering Trump looking up at the what was the event where we were supposed to wear shades so that you didn't get blinded, and he just looked straight up at the sky. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Early days of the Trump administration. What was it doing?
I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yes. There was like this, not an eclipse, but yeah, I'm sounding terrible right now. But yeah, there was dumbass 45.
Dumbass 45. The solar eclipse, yeah. He did. I remember that. David, get your people. All right, the new image shows it with 3 bright spots along a green that, to the surprise of the scientists, tilts face on toward the Earth. By the standards of other supermassive black holes, the scientists said the one at the heart of our Milky Way is relatively calm, as quiescent as something that gobbles stars and reaches temperatures measured in the trillions of degrees can possibly be. And if you look at the image, I'm sure it'll show on the screen in a few minutes, it does look like a donut. It's really eerie and creepy because a black hole in theory is something that you really can't see. So just to see like this swirling orange and everything swirling around it, it's really creepy. But what's even more creepy...
I don't know if that's going to be in the B-roll, but that'll be in the clip that we play in a second.
In the clip, right? Okay, awesome. And I was about to say what's even more creepy is that now NASA technology has created the eerie sounds of a black hole. And Dwayne, this is A1. See, I used the number in a letter today. Good. There is no sound in space because... go ahead. That's creepy as hell.
You can't fool me. They just went and took some of the sound effects off of
Star Wars.
Or what's my show on Netflix? Stranger Things. They just took some of the sound effects and put them to a picture of a black hole. Like, yeah, nah.
Man, when I heard that, I was just like, yo, has to be one of the most horrifying sounds I've ever heard. That's just like really creepy. And I used to be one of those persons that always wanted to go into space. I think I'm good, but I don't want to be. But don't want to be on Earth. It's like, gosh, it's like, what to do?
That's the thing. If you like, some movies are more factually accurate than others, and I only look at movies because, let's face it, that's like the closest representation that, you know, with CGI and green screens and all that stuff, that we've come to kind of see space as at least consumers. And when you think about it, some of them will have silence when they're showing space, but some of them put on like some like heavy thuds and tunnel sounds and things like that, which you don't hear anything in space.
Exactly. Now, let me tell you, there is no sound in space, like David said, because sound travels through the vibration of particles and space is a vacuum. But NASA used new technology to translate astronomical data from black hole in the Perseus galaxy into sound, allowing humans to listen to a black hole. Now, this is not the first time they've done something like this, because, you know, I love space and I love looking at stars and everything else. So I'm one of those airheads. I'll say it. I'm space head. So, but they have like done other sounds from quasars, different constellations. And when I tell you, space is scary as hell. There's no other way to say it. Space is scary as hell. But I would love to go.
That's what I was just about to ask y'all. So if you had the opportunity to go to space and it was guaranteed that, you know what I mean, you was coming back, like everything was going to be good to go, you had the opportunity to travel around, orbit the Earth, maybe visit the moon, something like that, would you go?
Yes.
David?
That was a little too fast on the yes, TJ exclusive. I feel like I'd have to. I feel like that's something, that's an opportunity you really can't, like, I'm one that says I want to go skydiving and everyone else around me goes, hell no, I'm not risking my life to jump out of a plane. So yeah, I'd probably say yes. Oh, look who it is.
That's so white of you, David. Pascal.
See, this is what happens when you're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Dixon is in the building.
Messing up today.
Benjamin, what's going on, Ben? Long time no see.
I suppose,
you won't.
As I said,
you won't on camera yet. My bad.
What's up, fam? You know that black hole sound? You know that black hole sound? I think that's the exact sound that goes through Kylie Jenner's head when she was trying to learn how to cut a cucumber. Have you seen that video yet?
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen it?
Hell no. You know what I'm about to go look for it. I'm about to go
Y'all need to find it. Literally, it's going ham right now. It's going ham sandwich on twits. On the twits right now. But that same sound, I swear to God, it is literally what Kylie Jenner is thinking as she's trying to figure out, how do I cut a cucumber? Like, she's like, do I sideways? Do I do a hot dog style? Like, it's weird. It is amazing. Please, somebody find it. It's amazing.
Is this from the latest episode of Kardashians on Hulu?
No. It's just on Twitter. I don't watch any of that trash.
Oh, God. Okay.
I just saw it on no offense to anybody who watches that. God be with you. But the thing is, though,
I watch it religiously. Okay.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, man. Everybody got to have a dream. Everybody got to have a dream. Yeah, there's a video. There's like a clip circulating through Twitter right now where she's literally trying to figure out how to cut a cucumber. I'm sorry. So when I heard, because I'm watching the show, I was watching the show, and as I'm watching the show, you know, you guys are playing the black hole sound, and I'm like, damn, that's literally what's going through Kylie Jenner's head as she's trying to cut a cucumber. It's amazing. It's too perfect.
Pascal, you know I'm searching, right?
Please search.
Pascal, where you been all week? I've missed this.
I miss you guys too.
This was a void in the show.
Well, I miss you guys too. I've been busy. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of things going on here. And of course, I've been covering a lot of things with this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing as well.
Yes.
So that's been taking up a lot of my time. It's very time consuming. And also, I'm also watching the trial live on my channel. I mean, sorry, shameless plug, but if you guys are interested in seeing some very interesting
subscribe to Pascal everywhere and tune into his damn stream.
Please, I appreciate that. But yeah, so if you're interested in watching very colorful commentary during the live testimonies and during the live trial, then come through, check it out, because I'm streaming it live. So that's 7 hours every single day.
Wow.
This week has been very they're off for this week, so I've been chill and just trying to take care of other personal matters and getting my life somewhat back in order before it goes off the rails again starting Monday, because the trial starts all over again on Monday. So yeah. And
that's a lot.
And Dwayne, to answer your question, just to get back on subject,
I was just about to ask you that too. Okay.
Okay. The question is, do I come back in one piece knowing that I'm going to come back in one piece?
Yeah.
Or is it just kind of like,
you're gonna be back home safe and sound.
That's
if
the
you
assumption.
Want to be. If you want to be.
Okay.
You might end up finding, might end up on Mars and finding out it's like Eden.
Oh,
and like
I got another question. And this is gonna like really get everything.
Answer the first one. I didn't even get the
look, I know
the first one, Brett.
But now this one, you probably won't even want to answer it now. How long is the trip? Now, is this something that could be instantaneous where I go to? Or then it could be something that's just like, it's going to take me it already takes 5 years to get to Mars. So I got to get there, and it's going to take another 5 years coming back. Not to mention the time difference. It's a different time zone.
But here's the thing, though. If you're going that fast, how are you going to really surprise? Like, if it goes that fast, how are you really going to enjoy every minute, right?
I would say come out of hyperspace. Let me chill for like a few couple of weeks or so. Then let's get back in hyperspace and go back on this journey. Yeah, a couple of weeks. Because I ain't trying to be in space for 5 years. It's a lot of stuff that can happen in 5 years.
Nah, that's the thing. Once you out there, you out there to you know what I mean? Nah. You gonna be gone for a while.
Nah. Okay. So I'm going to raise my hand real quick. I'm somebody who doesn't like to fly, period. I'm not a huge fan of flying. So you already start there. Okay. Then on top of that, for a fact, for a very, very long time, however long it takes to get from point A to B and back to A, because obviously A is Earth, okay, that we're talking about. Knowing that you're not going to put your feet on the ground, like on ground, whether that's Martian Earth or Earth, right, is absolutely terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Because now you know that between you and space is just a bunch of aluminum foil that you're wrapped up in being hurled out into space. I'm sorry. I just, it's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. And then the other part of that, the other question I have to ask is, are we talking one of the NASA ships that we currently have now, or is this going to be some newly designed spaceship that is capable, like I'm not sitting upright in a...
Nah, you going to be on the ship right in between Bezos and Elon Musk. You'll see right between them.
But then again, that's months and months of being able to cut through their crazy BS, you know what I'm saying? And learn some stuff so that when you come back, you a billionaire too. So I'll be like, yo, peep me on game. Let me know what's up on game. Run game real quick. Let me know what's up. What should I invest in, Brett? And can I borrow some shekels in the meantime? Wow, I'll invest that, and then we can just like share the shekels. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, But if I had to sit there, marinate in my own funk and their funk too, smelling their farts and all that stuff in a tuna can being hurled out into space for God knows how long, man, it better be worth it. I better come back a billionaire. Say again. What do you say?
And white people fart stink.
Smelling nothing but wet cabbage. Okay.
Oh my God.
Slathered in mayonnaise.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Bubba,
We all nasty.
They're never gonna let us do this again. We about to get the whole show.
No. I'm playing. All of our farts.
How did we go? Criminalizing code.
It was my fault, though. I'm sorry. I took it off the rails. I'm sorry. But
just for the record, on this Friday episode, we've gone from protesting and criminalizing the First Amendment to global warming to white people farts.
The range, like Ben says, we have range on this platform.
I'm sorry.
Snack Panther said, "Ain't no funk in space."
Ain't no. It is in an enclosed capsule.
Exactly. That stuff still goes like that. You know what I'm saying? It still like, travels. If it ain't traveling,
you can't vent that air.
If it ain't traveling, you dead. That's all I gotta say. Dead. You in space and that you don't. Then you already floating in space, just frozen. Sorry, just go.
Can't stand this man.
Anyway, I'll stop throwing this off the rails. I'm so sorry, but yeah,
man. So on top of a black hole being discovered yesterday, and then everybody being hurled into space, next week a House panel will hold a first public hearing on UFOs in decades. Now, according to CNN, the House panel will hold an open congressional hearing next Tuesday about UFOs for the first time in over 50 years. It will focus on the Pentagon program that was established last year after the U.S. intelligence community released a preliminary assessment of 144 reports of unidentified aerial phenomena. They don't want to call them UFOs. Unidentified aerial phenomena since 2004, and could only explain one. The House Intelligence Committee's Subcommittee on Counterterrorism, Counterintelligence, and Counterproliferation will hold the public hearing on May 17th at 10 a.m., and it will be followed by a closed classified hearing on the Pentagon program known as the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group. So I want to be in the meeting after the meeting, because that's the one they're going to talk about the real stuff. It's not going to happen at all. We ain't going to never know anything that's happening after that.
Nope.
But now everybody wants to look up at the sky and see UFOs. UFOs been existing. Now y'all want to know about it?
It's been around, y'all. Let's keep it real. It's been around.
Yeah.
It's been around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
y'all seen some of these videos?
But they're never going to tell us the truth about it, because then they have to account for like where all of this technology came from. You know what I mean? They got to tell us then that they've been lying to us for 7,500 years about where all this stuff came, even longer than that. You know what I mean? So I've always been big to believe like half the technology we ended up with, it wasn't by our own doing.
Oh, no. Facts. I just can't believe it, especially within the last few years. It just seems like some stuff has come out. I was like, damn, well, where did y'all find out how to do that from? But 9 times out of 10, this technology probably has existed a long time ago, and they just released it in like Apple updates and Apple phones. That's how they're releasing it.
Yeah, I mean, the government been using all this technology for 50 years, you know what I mean? And just not telling nobody. So we late to the party.
Uh-huh. All I want to say is y'all can pick me up and take me out there too. Just let me ride around in space with y'all for a few. Let's chill, hang out, smoke, listen to Kendrick. Be good.
Hey, did them people a few years back ever go and raid Area 51? Remember that was on social media for a while, where they was all talking about meeting up on a certain day and going like to attack Area 51? Did that ever happen?
Yeah. They met out there.
Not everybody showed. From my understanding, I think like not everybody showed up. There was talks
what was like 15, 20 people?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think like not. I mean, there was a bunch of people saying that they were going to do it, and then when it came to it, I think that since it was already out there like that, people were already talking about it like crazy. They, I think the government got in front of it, and then people kind of bowed out quick. So some people still showed up, but not everybody. because I thought the list was huge.
Yeah,
the amount of people that said that they wanted to show up. It was a big amount of people.
It was thousands. That's right, thousands. Yep. And somebody said Tiger said it was only about a few hundred people. So even then, y'all didn't want that smoke, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's when the guard and defense team, everybody else, and their mama started showing up at the gates, and it was like, yeah, we ain't doing that, y'all. We just playing. Mm-hmm. It was basically Coachella that it turned. It ain't even see Coachella. It turned into a Lauryn Hill concert after Lauryn Hill been there for, like, you're supposed to keep you on stage for all this time, and she had you waiting, and that's all the people that left. That's what it was. I love you, Lauryn Hill.
Do you?
She on time.
David.
Yes, sir.
Is David still here? Oh, okay. I emailed you. I didn't know who to send it to. So I sent two different versions.
I'm getting it
just
straight now. I had to.
Perfect.
Clipping it.
I got a second. I just sent you a second email, which is probably a better version. Just so you know, a cleaner quality. Just so you know, it's Kendall Jenner, not Kylie Jenner. There's too many.
It's Kendall.
It's Kendall. Sorry,
Kendall,
it's not
Kylie.
It's Kendall.
Chloe.
You know, potato, Nelly Furtado. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Pascal, did you hear about Cardi B in the club the other night?
Yeah, that was okay. So yeah, let's talk about that. Go ahead. Tell the story, baby. Well, tell the story.
It's being reported. Ain't no being reported. I saw the video.
Being reported.
While Cardi B and Offset were partying at a club, a DJ mistook Cardi B for Nicki Minaj. And Cardi and Offset reacted accordingly. In a video that was posted on the Shade Room Thursday, Barty and her husband, Offset, were partying at Richie Romero's Wonderland Club in New York City on Wednesday night. Suddenly, the DJ plays a song by Cardi's rap rival, Nicki Minaj, and makes a huge blunder. Dwayne, you got that clip ready? Let's take a look.
Oh.
He's like, oh, wait.
Look, I'm looking at cucumbers. To your story. And look, I'm listening to your story and forgot all about me.
This would be B1. I'm just hoping.
I just found out. I forgot all about it. I had a job to do. Here you go.
And that slam at the chest at the end, you can tell she was, at first, like when he first said it, it was like she was like still dancing. Offset looked a little upset, and so you could tell finally by the end of the song, she's like, all right, I gotta say something.
Yeah. Thank God he didn't play like super bass or something like that while she was saying. That would have been hilarious. I'm just saying, send it all the way home. Commit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought you were her. Shoot, I'm sorry. Play the song. Stay committed. You know what I'm saying? No,
she might have shut down the party.
Yeah, he done mucked it up. He mucked that up bad. That was
yeah.
You don't how,
and especially you a DJ. Let's be honest. If I'm up there on stage and I'm spinning, and somebody walks in, first I'm going to confirm that's who this person is. I'm gonna look, and if I don't know, I'm gonna make sure I ask somebody and say, "Hey, can you make sure that's Nicki over there? Can you make sure that's Cardi over there? Can you make sure that's XYZ over there?" If you don't know, don't say anything. So it's being said that somebody wrote a note and passed it to the DJ, which does sound about right. I've had somebody write me down a note or something and say, "Hey, say this on the thing." And I look at it, I'm like, who is this from? I'm questioning everything because y'all not going to make me look like no fool.
Why would my reputation on the line. Suddenly you get a letter. Is this handed over to you? You're going, okay. Michael Jackson is here. Okay, Michael Jackson's here.
Shut up, Michael Jackson in the band.
dead. Why?
And then it's Diana Ross.
Why wouldn't you go like, wait, hold up. Man, stop. Stop. As
it's just
Dwayne
Diana
said.
Ross.
Stop the cap. All right.
It's just Diana Ross, really, David?
Just saying. Real talk. You're telling me that you're not looking back and saying, wait a second, who Nicki Minaj is here? Hold up. Man, that's not Nicki Minaj. That's Cardi B. I mean, you don't
That's
what?
Cardi
You just
B.
grab that and go, oh yeah, okay, she's here. She's in the house. Like, that's stupid. Do your research. It's quick. You just got to look up a glance. You know what I'm saying? No offense to the DJs out here because, DJ exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DJ exclusive. But sometimes y'all are just hitting a space bar to get to the next song. So you can take 2 seconds to look up and go, oh, that's Cardi B. All right. Cardi B in the house. And then be done. Get to the next song.
That is freaking real. That's really real. You're not doing that much where you can't stop for a second and look at it and see what's going on, because you're going to have at least a few seconds in the transitions of your songs if you know what the hell you're doing to call out anybody and say whatever you need to say on that microphone. So honestly, I think even if he was passed the letter and read it off for the simple fact that he didn't verify and double check with anybody, yeah, bro. Looks like I'm moving to New York to be a new club DJ. Hey, let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, what's wrong with you? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Do your research. Just
do your research. DJ exclusive. We don't need to pretend we have the air horns. You actually have the real air horn, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm running stories today, David. I can't DJ and run stories and do everything. Oh wait, now I sound like the DJ. Huh, shit.
There it is.
Nicki Minaj is in the house, y'all. Elvis Presley's in the house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Y'all give it up for Elvis Presley. Thank you very much.
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh man!
I'm sure he lost his job. I'm assuming he lost his job because if you look at the video again, Cardi B. I mean, clearly Cardi B was pissed, and when she handed that microphone back, man, she did not gracefully, gingerly hand over the microphone. She just gave it back to the dude, like,
yeah, like she all over Offset chest, like, man, get away and just take this damn microphone. Like, damn, bro, she's really mad. And of course, the DJ, I don't know if y'all heard what the DJ said. He was like, shout out to Nicki Minaj in the mother effing building. Let's go, the DJ yelled. Nicki, let's F it up. Let's go. Let's go. You hype as hell, and it's not Nicki. Then, okay, oh my gosh. See, and this is what annoys me, because not only that, you had time to not only shout out Nicki, who it wasn't, but then you had time to select a song to play to make it seem like it was Nicki.
Thank you. What was the song, by the way? I forgot. What was the song that they played? Because I understand not playing it here. But what was the song? Problem? What's again?
Do we have a problem?
Oh, okay. So because
almost is like she's going at Cardi already in the song a little bit. So
I was just about to ask because
So whoever did that. That was somebody that was against Cardi for real. They knew what they was doing.
Somebody was trying to do her and him dirty at the same time. But
at the same time, yep.
At the same damn time. But at the same time, I'll say this though: that DJ better not be spinning anywhere anytime soon for at least like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 weekends. Okay, in that area.
Yeah, I'm sure that
everybody knows.
I'm sure that they. Hopefully, I'm sure they went on and kicked his ass out the club.
Hopefully, he addressed it with whoever handed him the note.
Yeah,
right. And not only that, this man is fired. They spent $5,000 in the club that night. Offset and Cardi did. So
only that DJ much?
Gone.
Only right. That much?
Only 5,000.
I mean, Drake.
That's a Tuesday for me.
Drake dropped like $1 million. Okay, just 5,000. Okay.
Not even. Wait. How much would Nicki drop?
That's what they should have asked.
See the way? I mean, David, you over here causing beef and trouble.
Or maybe they squeezed it off because he accidentally said, Nicki Minaj in the house. And she's like, man, close out my tab right now. I'm sorry. Nah, I ain't paying more money in this facility.
Yeah, the club owner probably fronted that bill. They did. That was a huge mess up. Because now she ain't going to never come back.
Yeah, she ain't coming back. Nah, not. But agree,
she does look like she does look like Nicki a little bit.
Get out of here. She does not.
Look at one angle. I want to say from the other video, it looks like she does look like Nicki a little bit because Nicki's hair is now blonde or similar to that color right now. So
I wouldn't say Nicki when the video first started and they had like the profile shot. I was seeing like Bad Boy era Faith Evans.
Damn it, Dwayne.
Good call. I'll take that.
Good call. I'll take that one too. Yeah,
I'll take that.
And she tried to hold it together. You could tell Cardi was holding it together as much as she could. When she got that microphone,
really,
that was it.
Really?
Yeah.
You tell
me
at
first she was calm.
Come on, James. Come on. Wait, hold up, Bubba. Hold up. She still grabbed the mic. She still said something. You know what I'm saying? She's like, we out here in this mother love. You know what I'm saying? You want some problems? She was calling out the DJ saying, we about to curb stomp you outside. You telling me she took that in stride? Come on now.
The first part of the song she did.
If she took it in stride, she wouldn't have picked up the microphone and said a damn thing. She would have just been like, why don't you just tell the DJ who really is here real quick? He got it all wrong, man. He got me messed up. She still picked up the mic, somehow got a microphone, corrected everybody and corrected the room and then corrected him and then also told him, you don't want to see me outside.
Catch me outside. Now, I will give you that. Okay. She probably didn't react the first time because she couldn't find the microphone.
Exactly.
See,
you know, for a fact.
Dwayne, if you could pull that picture up.
What picture?
We're testing Dwayne's capabilities while he's batting.
We are, aren't we?
We really are. He does not appreciate us this morning.
we know Dwayne working in the background.
Let's go to the scoreboard. Dwayne.
See, look.
Go.
Left side, Nicki. You can't tell me she look like Cardi a little bit in this picture.
I thought right side was Cardi and left side, you know. Never mind.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm playing. They look nothing alike.
Yeah, but no, not those.
Yeah.
So look at Nicki. Y'all go to hell.
Different eyebrows, different nose, different mouth, different jawline. They are two completely different people. The girl that's standing right next to Cardi B looks more like Nicki Minaj than Nicki Minaj. Okay, I'm just saying.
I hate you, bro.
I'm just saying. There's no way you're looking out through the crowd if he really was doing his due diligence and picking up his head and looking over. There ain't no way you're gonna look at a Post-it note that you get. Or on a napkin and it says, Nicki Minaj is here. And you ain't going to go, oh, word? And look over for 2 seconds. And you go, yeah, that is Nicki Minaj, yeah. Unless you high as hell. He must have been high as hell for him to sit there. Something. You know?
They killing me in the chat. They talking about so all black female rappers look alike.
Ooh.
That's why I haven't said anything this whole segment.
Uh-oh.
Exactly, David. Good choice.
Smart
Good
man.
choice. Excellent choice, David. Excellent.
I'm over here having technical difficulties.
But
convenient.
Bubba, yeah, very convenient. Oh, suddenly.
Shut up.
Anyway, so they look nothing alike. So there it is. I'm just going to say that. Are you okay there? Bubba, did we lose him completely?
No, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, I was going to say, here on the Benjamin Dixon Show, like it or not.
Well, we are going to get our act together, and hopefully, I'm putting this out publicly, Pascal. because I want to make it happen, and I feel like we need to be pressured into making it happen. Pascal should be doing something on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. A day coming soon.
I approve this message.
Hey, there we go.
Hey. Say, you ain't got no choice but to approve. You just put you on the spot.
Yeah, just put me on the spot.
Okay.
Make it comfortable as hell. Yeah, if you reverse the headphones, put them on the other side, that'll fix the technical.
It worked. Now I can hear y'all. Y'all go to hell.
He's like,
I had to put the cord on the other side because I'm just like, I'm snatching this damn cord.
This coffee ain't tasting right. Hold up.
Oh, Bubba, I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance, Bubba, to. So I wasn't here on Tuesday. I don't think. So, did you talk about Doctor Strange? Did you talk about your thoughts about it? No.
I'm trying to give people some time.
You ain't got to spoil it. But did you? How would you? You ain't got to spoil it. But did you like it? Did you? Were you?
Hell yes, I've been trying to go see it again for like this whole week, and I've ordered like 2 tickets, and I've missed the time each time. So I'm going to see it this weekend. I'm going to see it again.
Yeah, I saw it in 3D, and I'm not like I haven't been to a 3D movie in forever. But I saw it in 3D, and it was dope. Like there was a lot of the action that was in it. There was visually it was beautiful. So in 3D it was crazy. But yeah, I don't
Pascal, have you seen the shit?
Yeah, man, I'm just super surprised that Doctor Strange dies at the end, man. Like,
I know, me too. And man, who knew that?
Nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't had time. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
I plan on seeing it on bootleg. So
the bootleg.
I'm kidding. On that, look, on that.
Doctor Strange turns into Thanos.
Yes, he does, and then he snaps, and it all goes back to the beginning.
In Pascal's version of Doctor Strange, it's going to be Brad Pitt playing him.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise is already in it. Damn, did I say that on the microphone?
Oh man, you said.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Man. Stop with the spoilers, man. Damn.
But no, when I tell you though, it's. I was about to say it's one of the best damn Marvel movies. I like it because I don't know if y'all have ever seen Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Yes. So Sam Raimi is the director of Doctor Strange 2, of course, who directed the Evil Dead movies. And when I tell you it shows like an Evil Dead 3, basically, but with Marvel characters. And when I tell y'all it's a lot of wow moments in there like that, actually probably scare you a little bit, like, oh shit, okay, cool. So yeah, I implore everybody to go see that movie if you have not. Want to see it again? I
saw a lot of bad reviews, but I didn't agree with them. It was. It was.
I ain't even seen none of them. I'm just like, you know what? I ain't done a damn thing. Y'all say this is Marvel, and we back.
Okay, I've heard 2 different things. If you're a fan of Sam Raimi, you'll really enjoy this movie. If you're not a fan of Sam Raimi, then you won't enjoy this movie. But then the other thing I'll say too is, do not go on to Twitter and look up anything Doctor Strange centric. They will destroy everything. All the spoilers are out. They don't care.
Everything.
I saw things. I was like, damn! It just from scrolling up, you just see things. You're like, I didn't want to know that. You know what I mean? So you got to be very careful. Avoid at all costs, if you really just want to see the movie and really enjoy the experience, avoid Twitter, avoid YouTube. Literally,
most definitely YouTube.
I'm not kidding, man. Just the other day, I'm watching a review because I watch like these movie review places, channels, because I'm a huge film buff. I love movies. I've watched them all almost. Okay, and so I'm watching this this review on Doctor Strange, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a really nice review. And it was on my TV. I leave the room. I come back, and suddenly this guy another channel pops up, and it's showing the entire, like, they explain everything. They're doing the whole breakdown. I'm like, I don't want to see this. And there's all the spoilers, everything in that thing. I didn't even want to see it, but it went on automatically as I went, into one room, came back, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, who's in here? Who's in the movie?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I want to know this stuff. So it's all this crap. Avoid at all costs, guys. Avoid at all costs, or go see it as quickly as you can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See it as quickly as you can.
I went by myself.
Most definitely.
I was like, I called the wife. I was like, you ain't want to see this movie, did you? She was like, nope. All right, bet. Purchase tickets 5:00.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, that was me, Dwayne. Thursday, 3:00. It was like, let's go. I'm in this first showing. I'm like, let's get it. Yeah. I'll be late for work. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna be like 3 hours late, so I'll be on as soon as I get back. Got something personal. I gotta go to the doctor.
Except they're also stalking your Instagram stories while you're eating popcorn, going, yo.
Right. I'm getting alerts while I'm in the movie theater. Hey, James, the building is burning down. What should we do? Okay, I'll call you as soon as my appointment is over with. Just let it burn for the time being, and I'll see you after. Okay, cool. Thanks.
The one to use is like, hey, I got to go to court. I got like a ticket or something. I got to go to court because you can't take your phone in most courthouses, so you ain't even got to worry about the notifications.
Bam.
Just put that on Do Not Disturb.
Hey. Man, he got this all figured out. Look at that. Look at that.
He do. Me and both.
He got it all figured out. Man, he's diabolical.
I can't talk about these things on Beyonce's internet.
Yo, Dwayne diabolical. Look at that.
See, y'all think it's me. Dwayne is the Rang leader.
Dwayne is dangerous.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
See, Dwayne is the Rang leader. I'm the good one.
I was at Sunday
Exactly.
school. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Exactly, Dwayne. Spoken like a true diabolical mastermind. Okay.
And did he say he was in Sunday school?
Yep.
I was in Sunday school too, and look at me now.
No, I'm talking about whenever y'all said I did something. No, I was at Sunday school. It was a special Thursday edition of Sunday school. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I'm done. I am done.
I can't stand.
I haven't seen the movie yet. I really do. I really do want to see. But Top Gun 2 looks pretty fire. It does look pretty fire.
Let's talk about it real quick before we get out of here. I don't know. I mean, granted, I've seen a lot of previews, and it does look good. And like, I think the more and more I see the previews, I do want to see it. But I don't know. I'm just like, I'm on the fence about it. I'm on the fence.
I think if you're there for the flying, the planes and action stuff in the air, and you love aviation, or you just like jets, you know what I mean? If you're just that nostalgia, excuse me. I think that from what I hear, if you're a fan of those kinds of things, you're really going to enjoy the movie. But there's certain parts of it that is just like super corny, super cheesy, very old school. Original. Like the original, yeah. That'll be very like America, you know what I mean? Male camaraderie, you know what I'm saying? Because apparently they like there's the stuff in the movie, the first movie with the volleyball scene and all that. They're doing all that stuff in this movie as well. Like there's elements of that in the movie. So if you know what you're walking into, you'll enjoy the movie. That's what I'm hearing so far.
The trailer,
but the middle, see it. The trailer looks good. They just say like the second act is just, that's when it gets really cheesy. First act is amazing, really bring you in. Third act, they say, is just like best aviation cinematography, best shooting of like the way they did this apparently is so amazing that it's worth the watch. It's worth the wait, or getting through that corny second act. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Third act, they say, is just like and Tom Cruise is flying his own ish. He flying these jets, man.
I was about to say, I know he's doing his own stunts and flying all his aircraft. Crazy. I know he is.
He's crazy.
Did y'all see Everything Anywhere? Was it Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I haven't seen that yet. I heard that's fire though.
Fire. Like it's amazing. I've seen it twice already. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Definitely gonna cop the Blu-ray when it comes out. Everything. The movie is amazing. Like one of the best interpretations of a multiverse ever. I said it here first. Yeah. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Go see it if you have not. And then the trailer for Avatar 2 was finally released in I don't know if I want to go back to it, y'all. It's been damn near 20 years. I don't know if I got it in me, bro.
I have to disagree with you on that. Seeing the trailer in the movie theater on the big screen got me excited. Got me excited for it because it just looks like the original Avatar was like one of the dopest things we had seen at the time, like visually. And then now seeing this with all the advancements and it's gonna be ridiculous. I don't even care. I don't even care about the plot. That's what I was just gonna say. I don't even care about the storyline or the plot. I'm just going to look at it like it's one of the 7 wonders of the world, like how you go to Niagara Falls. That's what I'm going for.
And that's fine. For me, I'm like, what's the plot though? Like, drag me in for I want to know why we back at Avatar, because it seemed like they finished it. It was over. It was done. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because remember he had the relationship with the blue lady. It looks like they got a son now. Yeah, they got a kid now and all of that. So they try and protect the ways of the. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is a plot and it'll probably be cool, but I'm just going to see what it looks like. It's like going. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
Hey Pascal, what time are you going live today?
Probably around 10, something like that. I don't know yet. I might not be on today. I got too many things to take care of.
So 10 p.m. You're talking about 10 p.m.
Maybe not at all today.
You said hell no.
Today is a busy day, but I wanted to hop on and chop it up with you guys. But you guys didn't get a chance to look at the cucumber scene.
Right.
Oh man, let's run that before we get to the after party. Yeah,
here you go.
Do you want the chef to make you a snack?
I'm making it myself. Just gotta chop up some cucumber. It's pretty easy.
You go, girl.
But when she sets up for slicing, her awkward prep has Chris calling for help.
Be careful, because I nicked myself the other day.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Don't cucumbers have seeds?
Dwayne, can you drop the lower third?
Oh yeah, they definitely.
Is that what it's called? It's
not
right
a good
there.
cutter, so don't zoom in on me. I'm not
The level
whatsoever.
of if
oh my God,
if privilege was a metaphor.
Hey, hold on, I got you, Pascal. Hold on. Let's play that again.
Sure.
When she sets up for slicing, her awkward prep has Chris calling for help.
Be careful, because I nicked myself the other day.
What is? She's like, what do I do with it? Do I chop it down? What is this pointy, sharp object in my hand? It's called a knife, honey. Oh.
No, you're missing the audio that Dwayne's putting down.
Do you want to cut this up for her?
I'll do it, Mom.
Dwayne, bruh.
Pascal, have you heard what a black hole sounds like?
Dwayne.
Right, literally, that's what's going on in Kendall Jenner's head. Real talk. It's just
the way she was cutting that damn cucumber, exactly.
If privilege was, say that you're privileged without saying you're privileged. That's isn't that a TikTok thing? Say that you're a cop without saying that you're a cop. You know what I mean? Literally. How do you do that?
All they got to do is just say Kardashian.
Or just put a cucumber in front of them, hand them a knife, and go. What? They're just going to be like, "What is this? What is this?" She didn't even know.
Oh my God!
Literally, she looked like, man. Have you ever seen the cucumber thing with the cats? You put a cucumber next to a cat and see how they react. It's kind of like that. She's just sitting there like, what is this? She's so proud of herself when she says, I'm about to cut some cucumbers. Look at me doing this for myself.
Doing it for myself.
Strong, independent woman. You know what I'm saying?
Miss Molly was off today, so I did it myself.
Something to say, man. You know? What is this? It's a cucumber, honey. What's this in my hand?
What is this?
It's a knife.
Oh, this is what a knife looks like.
Why is it sharp?
She's touching it like, ew, what is this? It's a cucumber.
Ew. Ew. Oh my God, Chloe.
Ew.
What are you doing?
What is this?
Chopping a cucumber.
It's Nicki Minaj. It's Nicki Minaj.
It's organic. It's an organic cucumber. You're not cutting it the right way.
I'm sorry. She's so proud of herself too. So proud of herself. And then, oh my God. Anyway, she don't cook. Clearly that woman don't cook. Okay, she don't cook.
I know.
It's a damn shame.
Pascal, man, we appreciate you so for joining us today. I hate you, man. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I hate you too.
And hey, man, tell them how everybody can reach you. You got to go anywhere? You sticking around for the after party?
I mean, I can stick around for a few more minutes. Sure.
Okay, cool. So before you get out of here, before we go to the after party, then I got 6 Topless Women sounds nice, doesn't it? Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. The after party is coming up next.
Big metal fan. Big metal fan.
Thank y'all, everybody that tuned in today for the show. If you are not a Patreon member, make sure that you go join today. Patreon.com/LikeItOrNot. Patreon.com/TheBPD Show. Amazing, and of course my microphone changed in the middle of the thing. But that's okay because I hope y'all affirmation for today on this Friday. I deserve all that is good. I deserve all that is good. Y'all gonna be great. Love y'all. Mean it. Patron party tonight, 9 p.m. Deuces.
Let love shine in your heart each and every day.